Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I like starting off with these ladies. They're super easy to see. You guys can see the right and left side silhouette. What's really neat about this one, and I scratched in her eye just a little bit here, but there is a black spot that was original for her eye there. And that's the style of this art. They're like the memes of ancient culture. You can see all this crazy paint on here. There's gonna be some paintings in here too. I can see all the details of it. But this little bird right here shows up, and from far away it actually starts to resemble an eye. So what they have is a shelf eye, they call it, and underneath here you'll see how it's round. And so that is actually, this little diamond section right here is actually an eye. And this is all, of course, the face. So it's a little bit weird to look at it at first. But if you think, 10,000 years ago or so, you guys will be able to recognize it. I didn't put my camera in fisheye when I started this. So I'm gonna try to keep the focus correct. It does come out sharper from far away, which is okay. Maybe we'll look at some of these from a little bit further today. Because when you look at the images when they're small, they can come out and pop out a lot better. And we went over this table a little bit, but there's really so much more on it with all this beautiful stuff. And instead of just kind of sitting and watching it all get destroyed, I was hoping to review at least some of it. This is a bird head representation. You can see how the ribs are done, the ridges for the crest. And then, of course, the bird's eye, right? I don't know why I'm holding my pen in my other hand. Thanks for joining, guys. I'm gonna take a look at a few of these together today, and you can see the similarities here between these two. Very pretty. These got rained on a little bit, which helps with the color, exposing the color for them. And this beautiful kidney-shaped stone, really dig it. But looking at this one, you can see how we have the eye, the mouth, the nose, and this is like the head and the whole body. Maybe this is the left hand, this is the right hand. Maybe his belt line. It's the whole character there, and each one of these little spiral things is another one of those. Some of the stuff comes out really great in the camera, I can see. These little lashes and markings and things are intentional, and if you look closely you can see how there's just a little silhouette of a weird old man. And we'll go ahead and take a little bit of a look at that, a look-see. Oh, I got something crawling on me. It's probably a spider. There's a lot of spiders and bugs that make their way onto these. But as we tilt this one, we'll be able to see how in the white paint, the eye is portrayed, and then in the mouth there. It's kind of like a skeleton, right? You see it? Right side profile, of course. I could try to point it out a little bit. So the image that I'm seeing the best, I think, is this eye right here. See the center of it? In the white section, this is the brow. And this is the mouth, of course. And this little longest point could be the nose, but inside of this red and inside of the paint are more other images. And then to the left, we can see how the recessed beak, this big circle for the bird's eye. And then if we move it over, I don't want to move too fast for you, but if we move it over to the right, we just look at the longest point as being the nose, and we can use that same big round eye for another little face shape. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few more. The colors on here really, I hate that all these things are just going to sit out here and rot, so won't talk about that right now, but we'll have to figure something out. On this other side here too, we can see how these characters are painted in. So if you look closely at the eye, the nose of this large headdress character coming back, you may be able to see different depictions, but some of these are really cartoony like. So here we have the bird, looks like facing to the left with the bands over its eye or face. And then to the right, we'll have our humans These are characters, little bear-shaped characters. It's pretty awesome stuff. Let's take a quick peek at this one now that it's flipped over here. Get our stone out of the way so we can start to see these right side profiles and left. You'll see this white spot as being an eye. And if you look just kind of small here, I guess starting off in the red, we can see the eye, the nose, and then the open mouth right here. Let's go ahead and zoom out. And we can see how we're going to be able to see some more like later on, but they carved in the impressions here. So the outlines, the eye, the nose, and the mouth of the character here facing to the left. Might be a little tougher to see some of these. This is a little bit of a higher level stone. And different artists, or, you know, they were just people like us, and some people made their art in a very complicated way, and some of them made it a little bit easier for us. This art is generally easy, as we talked about before, in general. They try to make it very easy for us. I'd love to be able to take one of these apart with you guys to show you how they come apart and become their own effigies. But we've looked at this table already a little bit, and so go ahead and make sure that you check out the other videos for that stuff. And some of these even we've looked at a little bit before too, so maybe we'll flip this one over real quick. Let's check that out. All right, so for this one that's flipped over now, I'm looking at the eye, the nose, and then the large hair. Let's just call it hair for right now. This does eventually turn into a bird. Bird. So of course the bird mask fella, and we talk about him a lot. This is his eye. If you look closely in the eye, you'll be able to see the little stripes. It's actually a dot with the lines and everything. All the details are there. And he has this striped bird mask on. So he's like the transition between human and bird. His little indentation for lips, as we always talk about, are right here. This is his nose. And his eye is this white spot. Let's zoom in on that eye so you guys can see. And I'll make him a little bit smaller so he's a little bit easier to see. And putting him up next to another character of kind of like the same kind, you can see how the mouth, same little ripple or indentation for the mouth on this side. And you know what? If we flip it over, I bet you, well, he doesn't have a bird man, I don't think, on this side. Comparing these and having, you know, tons of examples is very, you know, is one of the things that really can help you. So this is one of my favorite pieces of the shale. So these, once they get dry, and if you leave them out here in the sun, they're almost impossible to open back up again. So what I've been doing is opening them kind of as soon as I collect them. Because if you let them dry up, they're almost impossible to get opened again without just destroying them. So here's a beautiful color. So this is a big mammoth head here, and I can pull it away a little bit so you guys can see. So we see the eye of the mammoth, and here's the trunk. And you can see how the tuft is painted red, black, and white. And what this is representing is the ear. So and the ear is recessed in, and the way they made the texture, just imagine the ear recessed out. And you also notice an X on here. They marked their mammoths. So this art has, I mean, I know people aren't going to believe it, but the ancient people domesticated mammoths. In this light section with the black outline, you'll see more silhouettes just right here in this one section. It's a very light painting. You can see how he's got like a white beard. His eye is right here. See the center of it? So you're looking at the nose perhaps, maybe the mouth down here, the white section. And of course this being his hair. You might not see this stuff yet, guys. Getting close just in the white section though will also produce little characters and things too. They're all just painted in there. Some of them are a little easier to see than others. I'll give you that. But I know the rock art was hard to believe. And we can always just put that rock art aside for right now and not even think about it. Just talk about these shale artifacts. Because right now there's a whole bunch of them that are still out there. And if we wanted to, we could force our state to go out there and collect them and maybe just become aware of them so that when they encounter them again, it's not this huge controversy. It doesn't require me going out to the local gas stations and putting up flyers and really just about losing my mind trying to get this recognized. I'm no activist, guys. So, but anyway, enough of that. A lot of these are getting sent out. Nick from City Rock Hounding, you get your box, and Jason and Amber's box is on the way as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.